Bernie Sanders winning big in Nevada tonight. The Fox News decision desk predicting he will win by a big percentage. We don't know what the final will be, but it will be big. So what does this mean looking towards South Carolina? It's Super Tuesday, 10 days from now. Joining me now, Ari Fleischer, former White House press secretary, also a Fox News contributor. Ari, good evening. I tell you, you see Bernie Sanders in Texas. He's looking ahead to Super Tuesday states. He looks like he has a firm control over this party. As you look at states going down the road towards Milwaukee, your thoughts tonight?
Ideas move people, not money. That's the fascinating thing about presidential politics, and that's what Bernie's campaign is made of. Socialist ideas, but inside the Democratic Party, those socialist ideas are enough to move people. Look, what Bernie did today in Nevada is phenomenal if you compare it to New Hampshire. New Hampshire, he barely won. It was a small majority, and people questioned whether he could build upon his base. Boy, did he build upon it in New Hampshire, across almost every demographic group, in Nevada, I should say, across almost every demographic group.
This is a 78-year-old self-proclaimed Democratic socialist who is from Vermont, who has been saying the same things for 40 years, who thinks that, you know, last time around he was cheated in 2016, but now he has captured something in a bottle.
He sure has, and he's captured it so much to such a degree that take the culinary workers in Nevada. The people that, a lot of the experts pointed at that brochure that said Bernie's health care plan would take away our health care that we worked so hard to get in all our negotiations. In the gigantic casinos up and down the Strip, Bernie won where the culinary workers are the strongest. What does that tell you about the power of his message, the power of his ideas? When there's something about Bernie that these liberal Democrats are drawn to that can beat their self-interest when they look at their narrow, just their health plan. That's the power, again, of ideas. And that's what Bernie has captured, and that's been his whole career. Now, again, some of those ideas, like letting the Boston Marathon bomber vote because all felons should get to vote, are going to be tremendously painful for him in a general election. But in a primary for a party that is moving to the left, moving liberal, and moving increasingly socialistic, Bernie increasingly fits that bill.
You know, Marie earlier, and then before her, Kristen, said that the Democratic Party, and especially the establishment Democratic Party, is in 5 stages of grief here as they deal with Bernie Sanders winning each of these contests. There is a long way to go as far as states yet to vote. If you're looking at this, how do you think this plays out for the alternative to Bernie Sanders?
Well, if I'm Joe Biden, I brag about my performance in Nevada. It looks like he's going to come in second place. It looks like he's going to have won the African-American vote, although by a smaller margin than I would have thought. But that's the type of message and momentum that he needs to take if he's going to have any chance in South Carolina. So bragging rights for second place, albeit a very distant second place, are up for grabs. Biden should be all over the place grabbing it, just the way Buttigieg grabbed that he won Iowa when he didn't really win Iowa. The politician who goes first often can set that tone. So it's a moment for Biden if he would do that, and then he could potentially be that alternative unless South Carolina just bombs, which I think is more likely than not for Biden, but that's his last chance. And then clearly it's a Bloomberg-Sanders race.
You know, we should point out Bernie Sanders kind of set the table for the rules for this year. With the 2016 changes, it's more in his favor because proportional delegates along the way. If he has a plurality of delegates heading into Milwaukee, but it's a sizable lead, is there any chance the Democratic Party can pull the nomination away from him?
Well, first, Brett, if it was winner take all, Bernie would be up in 3 states and nobody would have a single delegate. Bernie would have them all. So proportionate counting actually is hurting Bernie this cycle so far based on performance. But, you know, I've always discounted the idea of a contested convention. It always sounds so juicy and with proportionate representation and a thick pack of Democrats who all seem viable. Several had money. It seemed more plausible this year. But it's almost never plausible because of the momentum theory of politics. Once a candidate gets ahead of steam, once a candidate gets momentum, it's very hard for the others. They start to drop out, they don't have money, and all of a sudden the pluralities turn into almost majorities, and then they turn into majorities. So, you know, that's one item of conventional wisdom that I think tonight might do away with, or at least postpone. The other item, Brett, of conventional wisdom that people should get rid of is all the pundits who thought Elizabeth Warren had a great debate because she took it to Mayor Bloomberg. She had great one-liners against Bloomberg. Just because you're able to make a case against someone doesn't mean you're making a case for yourself. Warren is not doing any better here in Nevada than she did in New Hampshire. And so that debate really did not help her based on Nevada results. People in Washington think if you take down another politician, you're winning. The American people look at it a lot differently.
Ari Fleischer, as always, appreciate your thoughts. Thanks.